Greetings pilots, and welcome to episode 3 of SCANalytics, a video series dedicated to analyzing match videos and explaining the decisions, design choices, and thought processes that players go through in Armored Core Verdict Day. The following match is from the game time on January 14th, 2017, and is a 4v4 match on Windy City. As an operator, I oversee Yellow Team consisting of SCANalytics, number 10, using a TE-oriented midweight with dual sniper rifles and subcomputers plus a pulse gun. It features higher than average TE defense and AP, letting it take considerable punishment in a fight. Warhawk 2, number 6, who is using a high defense blading lightweight with overall high CE and TE defense, at the expense of lower KE. Crocodile Mr. Zero, number 9, who is using a light heavyweight with dual snipers, missiles, laser rifle, and a CE machine gun. Seb Hollow, number 8, who is using a midweight focusing on high burst damage and quick lock with dual triple shot BRs and pulse guns supplemented with dual subcomputers. On the green team we have Sosh Perennial, number 2, who is using a midweight with dual battle rifles, rifle, pulse gun, and CIWS. ZeFromCheng, number 3, who is using a light quad with dual sniper rifles and sniper cannon. Wonder Story Q, number 5, who is using a light tank armed with only 2 sniper cannons. And Phantasmar, number 7, who is using a heavyweight armed with a battle rifle, laser rifle, handgun, and large missile. This is a casual match with neither team having dedicated microphones or clear cooperation, so communication and teamwork is minimal. Also, no one really scans anyone else. The match begins with the yellow team moving away from their spawn point, getting ready to confront the opposing team across the river. Windy City is nearly identical on both ends except for the placements of some buildings. Green team has already set up their positions. Wonder Story Q is closest to the river on one of the destroyed buildings, while ZeFromCheng is hanging back with a sniper cannon quad, and Sasha and Phantasma are in the middle, waiting for the opponent's next move. From number 9, Croc's perspective, I can see that Wonder Story Q and ZeFromCheng have opened fire with their sniper cannons, hoping to get in some early damage. Croc, seeing this, glide boosts forward to test the waters and see if he can ambush Q from the side. Q notices and pulls back almost immediately. With no opening to take advantage of, Croc backs off as well. A good move, as he avoids being intercepted by Green Team's number 7, who is in close proximity. Because he was out of recon range, there was no guarantee Croc would have seen him in time. And being that he'd have to cross the river to get to Q, there's a good chance a lot of damage would have been taken. Croc's light heavyweight is oriented towards burst damage and glide boost passes and would have fared poorly fighting in a wide open area against Phantasmar's heavyweight, which is designed for slugfests with a battle rifle as main weapons, and the powerful large missile in his shoulders. However, just as he returns to the safety of a tall building, number 6, Warhawk, rushes across the map to meet the opposing team, most likely attempting to take out the enemy tank. He manages to avoid taking damage initially as he blazes past Phantasmar. He successfully makes it over to the green team's side of the map. However, the lack of cohesiveness or communication between the yellow team members means that they have been put in a precarious situation. Typically in team battles, pure melee type light ACs are designed for quick strikes, taking advantage of confusion on the battlefield or openings in the enemy's defense to attack an opponent. Usually they try to target heavy ACs like tanks because they are easy targets, but the high damage of their arsenal of weapons give them the ability to one-shot most other units. A good melee pilot will successfully destroy or cripple one or more ACs. Even in the cases where that doesn't happen, their presence alone in the middle of enemy territory is sometimes enough to throw the enemy team into confusion. Apart from some LRJs and quads, however, they aren't designed as frontline units, and most weapons are able to pierce their thin armor and take advantage of a lack of ranged options. Because of this, they rarely take the frontal approach and try to flank enemies or blindside them. Although Warhawk's lightweight AC is resistant to most anti-lightweight weaponry, It is also significantly bulkier due to its heavier parts. The use of low-consumption boosters exacerbates this, as it is magnitude slower than high-power or high-excel boosters. When engaged against an opponent, this means his sluggish movements make it very easy for the enemy to dodge him, and doesn't allow him to escape enemy fire. Yellow team must now decide whether they plan to back up their teammates' reckless charge or stay back. Making a quick choice, Croc glide boosts in to support number 6. Warhawk is unable to destroy any of the opposing team's ACs, and they begin to tear into him. His reckless charge allows them to rip him to shreds in seconds. It is now 3v4. Croc gets in a few free volleys on Phantasmar, taking him down from about 37k to about 27k, but is forced to fall back as Sosh, number 2, begins pursuing him with his battle rifles. Returning fire, he drops back into the buildings, narrowly avoiding sniper fire from Zaydark. In the meantime, Phantasmar becomes locked in a firefight with Seb, while Sosh is engaged with Score, and Zaydark and Q have their eyes on Croc. As he recovers energy, Croc immediately begins targeting Phantasmar again, who is too preoccupied with Seb to fully notice or to take evasive action. Despite losing significant AP, Phantasmar greatly weakens Seb to 3k AP before he is ultimately destroyed by combined fire from the yellow team, leaving them at a further disadvantage. Croc finds himself again hounded by Sosh's barrage of battle rifle rounds, and attempts to gain height and distance by wall jumping up and away to get a better position. He ends up above him and charges his laser rifle. In most normal cases, being above your opponent is a strong advantage. However, Croc's low energy reserves and heavy focus on charging his laser rifle meant that he put himself in a weaker position. While the Kurosawa has tremendous firepower, its charge time and drain makes it a risk to use with low energy. Croc was focusing so much on trying to hit Sosh that he was unable to effectively move. As a result, he takes a large amount of damage. Sosh's AC, a TE midweight emphasizing damage output with dual battle rifles, has no problem weaving out of Croc's FCS angle before the Kurosawa fires. He avoids taking any damage and inflicts 10k worth to Croc, who is now just under 15k AP. What could have been a game-changing shot that allowed them to focus down Sosh became a missed opportunity. By the time Croc fires, Sosh is already gone. At this point, Sosh has realized, either due to communication from his teammate or the AP of his teammate, that Q needs help, who is being harassed from above by Seb. Whether it's due to out of bounds or a battle rifle round, Seb is destroyed, leaving yellow team still at a disadvantage. Croc attempts to chase Zaydark down, who is still at 32k AP. His defensive stay-away playstyle prevents him from getting in any damage, and he breaks off contact to support Score. As Sosh backs off from an encounter with Score, Croc ends up in his crosshairs and the two lock horns. And it's here that Croc makes another crucial mistake. While chasing Sosh, he wall jumps away from cover and attempts to finish him off in the open. Without subcomputers, Croc's build relies on strong positioning and limited encounters to hit opponents with his sniper rifles. This requires either good cover usage to be able to pop out and land a shot, or a glide boost rush at close range. Outside of these scenarios, Croc lacks a consistent means of hitting Sosh, as merely boosting side to side is enough to make his sniper rifles miss. Taking into account the amount of AP left, the sniper rifle's long reload rate, and low firing stability of his chosen arms, there's little chance he would have been able to finish him off. With Zaydark reinforcing Sosh, Croc realizes he's bitten off more than he can chew, and desperately attempts to escape. But he fails. It is now 1 versus 3, with only Score left alive. The situation is now stacked against yellow team, but it isn't over yet. Score's build, a midweight sniper, specializes in quick movement and heavy damage in short encounters. With 34k AP left and 72 sniper rounds left, he can still take and inflict a lot of damage. If he can avoid being cornered and utilize his mobility and the terrain to its fullest, he can slowly whittle them down one by one. However, if Green Team plays well enough by coordinating together and preventing any single member from being taken down, they can slowly play a long game of cat and mouse until Score inevitably makes a mistake. There are currently 3 enemy ACs alive. Sosh, with his BR midweight at about 9k AP, Wonder Story Q, with his sniper cannon tank at 20k AP, and Zaydark with his sniper quad at 32k AP. Sosh has been weakened the most, but still presents a significant threat since he is the most aggressive of the 3. Being a midweight as well, he is about even in speed, which will make it hard for Score to close the distance or get a clean shot without putting himself in a compromising position for the other 2. Q has the second highest AP and has the potential to kill in only 1 or 2 shots. However, unless Score puts himself in poor or predictable situations, it should be difficult for him to be hit at all, particularly on a map like Windy City. He is the weakest in terms of mobility, and as long as he doesn't approach directly from the front, Score should be able to take him down quickly. Zaydark has the most AP and is playing a strong defensive game with sniper rifles. Any attempt to chase him will be difficult as return fire is guaranteed to come and to hit. Of the 3, he is the one that would be most difficult to deal with. Going after any one of them creates a difficult situation, but Score now has to pick and choose. Realizing the situation, he continues retreating onto the other side of the map. This is to give him more room and time to sort out a course of action, but also to give him better positioning. On this side of the map, there are 3 tall buildings located extremely close to one another. Their proximity allows faster builds to maximize their mobility with wall jumps, and also serves as an excellent cover while weaving in between them. He doesn't quite make it behind cover in time, and takes some minor damage from Zaydark before returning the favor. Sosh and Q have both caught up and slowly begin cutting off Score's access to part of the map. Sosh closes in with a glide boost rush, but dips out as soon as he sees him approach. As Score attempts to chase Sosh, he is struck again by Zaydark. Score attempts to chase with glide boost but is almost immediately shot out of the sky by Q. Because his focus was divided between Zaydark and Sosh, his movement became predictable and made it easy for Q to capitalize. Thankfully, however, no damage is done despite being a direct hit. He continues maneuvering between the buildings, finding any openings that he can to do damage to the opposing team. However, he is unable to deal a killing blow without the gunfire of one of their teammates always interrupting. Sosh is down to 6k, but backs off whenever he is being chased. Q is down to 8 to 10k and is playing more passively in light of his low AP, and Zaydark is maintaining a comfortable distance further away to avoid counterattacks. As the match progresses, the gap continues to widen as Score is having difficulty taking on the 3, and his own AP is slowly but surely dropping as well. At last, an opening appears as Sosh overextends in an attempt to finish out Score's remaining 12k AP. Though he manages to almost have it, he is ultimately destroyed in the final moments. With 7k remaining, Score needs to wrap this up quickly if he hopes to succeed. He decides to focus down Q, who is now down to less than 5k AP. However, he now must be significantly more mindful of Zaydark's presence, as he cannot afford to take much more damage. The quad sniper is playing too passively to be able to support his teammate. Two more shots end Q, leaving Score with one opponent left. While the playing field has evened out dramatically, it is still in Green Team's favor. To make matters worse, the last one left is also a sniper build. Using a quadruped frame, Zaydark's build is at 22k AP and is using dual sniper rifles with a dual subcomputer configuration. Whereas Score's build is more aggressive and excels in close quarters combat, Zaydark's is a long-range platform. They both have about the same lock time, but while Score has a bigger FCS angle, Zaydark has better range, and thus can keep him at bay if he prevents him from closing distance. As hard as he tries to close the distance, Score is unable to find any openings as Zaydark continues to play keep away. Perhaps due to positioning or not wanting to take any chances, Zaydark abandons Yellow Team's portion of the map and retreats to the other side of the river. For a brief moment, Score loses track of him as he is completely out of recons, but manages to dodge the sniper rounds and return fire. The situation has now changed to be almost completely in Zaydark's favor. Using the wide open area prevents Score from using cover to its fullest, and forces situations where Score has to trade. The only way Score can win is to play this perfectly. Use cover as much as possible, and strike when Zaydark overextends, and avoid return fire as much as possible by being out of range or breaking lock with the FCS. It becomes much more complicated, however, by the fact that Score no longer has recons to use. This means he must pop his head out of cover now and again to visually verify his position and avoid being ambushed. However, Zaydark's defensive style of play is getting the better of him. Because he is unwilling to advance, he is unable to finish off Score, who is slowly whittling him down. But all it takes is one moment. Score overextends over the river and tries to drop down to break lock. But it's too late. Game over. Green team is victorious. And that does it for this episode of SCANalytics. Let me know what you think about the breakdown below in the comments, or if you have any questions or anything you're curious about or didn't think I covered. As always, your support is appreciated whether you like, subscribe, or share this video. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, pilots.